So, Coney Barrett, being confirmed as a Supreme Court judge today. I feel like I don't need to tell you how dark a day this is for like the American political left, but it is not a good day. The in case you're like completely unaware, you don't know anything about the Supreme Court or why this is a big deal. Essentially, the issue is that for most of the like 20th century, we hung a lot of our civil rights victories on court cases. Now, that in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. However, the issue here is that court cases, um, when we have a Supreme Court that is majority conservative, can be overturned. So, one of the things about the Supreme Court is that essentially they can do whatever they want. um, like, if you have a majority, like power block, you can do whatever you want. Um, and so that means that's why if you go into what some of the more conservative justices on the court are talking about behind closed doors and to the press about, they're talking about their ability to overturn past cases and why that should be allowed. How they don't believe in precedent, which has been a cornerstone of legal cases and arguments for the entirety of the American legal system. Um, you can see them talking about how maybe we could for example, in the Amy Coney Barrett hearings before the Senate, you could hear her talk about how there were precedents and super precedents. And so she made the distinction between there being court cases that are that no one disputes and everyone accepts, so they become super precedents. They no one's going to argue against them, and so they should be held immutable and unchanging. But that other decisions that the Supreme Court has made in the past should be considered mere precedents that could be subject to being overturned in the future by the Supreme Court. And why this should worry you is if you are on the left, if you are, for example, LGBTQ, if you are um, trans, if you are black, if you belong to a minority, if you're a woman, there are all kinds of ramifications that could be overturned in a court of law that would either criminalize you for your past actions or turn you into restrict your rights in some way. So, like some of the noteworthy ways that this can be is through, for example, overturning Roe versus Wade. That could be done if a new case comes to the Supreme Court, which it looks likely will happen in the near future. Um, if a new case comes to the Supreme Court and the conservative majority decides that they are going to attempt to, well, or not even attempt, they are going to overrule Roe v. Wade. Um, Now, normally, one might think, wait, isn't there something we can do about that? And maybe there could be, except not right now, because the Supreme Court is kind of the final be all end all of these decisions. And that being the case, there's just nothing we can do about it. If like she got onto the court, it's done. And the argument that Mitch McConnell, someone who said that people shouldn't be put on the court within the president's last year of office, um, his argument is elections have consequences. And I think if that is going to be the standard that we now hold our court hostage to, that, yeah, Joe Biden should pack the courts. Undoubtedly, Joe Biden should pack the courts. Um, and I think that they have the out of everything that Democrats are not very good at doing right now, which is a lot. one of the few things that they have done well is set the stage for packing the courts in such a way that is not um, outright saying that they are going to do that, because that would be a bad political move. Sorry about that. Well, you have more than the presidency to court pack. Well, you have to have more than the presidency to court pack. True. However, there is also a 70% chance, 75% chance that the Democrats win the Senate. So we will see how this all shakes out. But if we can swing it, we should 100% pack the courts. At this point, there's really no excuse not to, because there's so much riding on the line. Like, Democrats have run so hard on the legality of abortion and how important abortion is as like a woman's right to choose and all of that. This is one of those few issues they can't actually retreat from and manage to keep power in office. Like, any Democrat who says, yeah, I fight for your right to get an abortion, but nothing we can do now, the Supreme Court, um, yeah, they're not going to keep their seat for very much longer. Okay, um, so I am hopeful that maybe this isn't as bad as it seems right now. But right now, Amy Coney Barrett, she's been sworn in. Um, they really pushed that through today. And I think that even though this seems really bad right now, and there could be in the immediate future, even before the election, there could be some pivotal voting happening. And also after the election, there could be a lot of pivotal votes after the election as well. Um, we could be in for a wild ride until we get to the point where we're able to pack a court, right? There could be a lot of things up in the air. For example, if for example gay marriage is overturned, do you have any idea how many people that will affect? Like, literally hundreds of thousands of people will suddenly have their marriages, like, I guess, annulled by the state. Um, I guess they will become criminals in a sense. It's a weird situation to be in. And while what I just said sounds like it could be like fantasy, this is entirely within the realm of possibility, guys. It's a scary time. Um, like, stuff like Brown versus the Board of Education uh could be on the line if we keep going down this rabbit hole. Um, there are still a lot of racists in this country who would support segregation being relitigated, you know? Yeah, Obergefell. Yeah, that's the gay marriage case. Um, so this is a colossally sad day for anyone who believes in freedom in the United States. It's a good day for conservatives, but as we have previously established in this stream, conservatives are fascists, and their victories are everyone's loss. Um, Now, I don't want to be all doom and gloom on you guys, but also, while this is the big news of the day coming out of the Supreme Court, we also have another problem, which is that overwhelmingly, it appears that the conservatives on the Supreme Court currently have no interest in supporting democracy in these upcoming elections. So, minutes before the Amy Coney Barrett is before Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed, Supreme Court rules 5-3 to throw out ballots in Wisconsin that are postmarked by Election Day but arrive after. 80,000 ballots were counted in the primary that arrived after Election Day but were postmarked by then. So, basically, just as clarification, we're currently in the middle of one of the a historically large pandemic that has killed 200,000 people in the United States. Over 200,000 people. I think now it's over 225,000 people. Um, And so there is a lot of incentive for people not to go to the ballot box on election day and to mail their ballots in. Um, the issue here is that the Supreme Court is now saying, if your ballot arrives after election day, um, it will not be counted. Now, keep in mind, in 2016, Trump won some of these areas by a few thousand votes. Looking at Wisconsin, just during their primary, 80,000 votes were counted that arrived after Election Day, but were postmarked before Election Day. So now we get to the problem of Trump purposely sabotaging the Postal Service so that their sorting methods, their efficiency has gone down the tubes to the point that this decision literally means that if anyone wants to vote by mail now, it's probably too late. It's probably too late for the Postal Service to get a ballot in Wisconsin from the mailbox to the ballot box in time for that vote to count. Which means that people will either have to vote in person or they will have to vote, fill out their mail-in ballot and bring it to the voting location. Now, 100% Lady Starfire, this is voter suppression. However, the issue is that this is the Supreme Court. So it doesn't go higher than that. The issue is closed. This is where we're at now when it comes to voting. One interesting point to note, is that Kavanaugh cited Bush v. Gore to justify making it harder to vote in Wisconsin. And another interesting point to note is that Kavanaugh, Justice Roberts, and now Justice Barrett all served on the George W. Bush legal team in Florida in the Florida 2000 recount. So, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the 2000 recount, but basically, if Al Gore had pushed this issue into the courts at the time, Al Gore would have won the presidency. That came out much later, but by then it was too late for him to contest who was president. So the issue of who becomes president is something that the courts actually have quite a bit of sway over. And with Amy Coney Barrett being in the Supreme Court, if Donald Trump takes the issue of the election to court, there is a possibility that the conservative justices will side with him. 3 of them have a history of having done that to sway elections. So, we're in a bad spot, people. And this is why I am continually saying to all of you, if you are still able to vote, that you should not vote for Howie Hawkins, you should not vote for Joe Jorgensen, you should not vote for your preferred write-in candidate. You should fucking vote for Joe Biden. And you need to vote for Joe Biden because a situation where the Supreme Court has to decide who's president is not likely to go in our favor. Specifically because Republicans have gone through a great deal of expense and effort to stack the court against us. And they've stacked the court with 3 of the people who have previously done this exact sort of thing. So the issue is the more people we get to vote for Joe Biden, the less likely it is that the Supreme Court will side against the will of the people to, keep, in this hypothetical, keep Donald Trump president. The less likely it is that the military might have to step in, all kinds of stuff. And that might seem like crazy talk, like talking about military stepping in. That's wild. Why would I even talk about that? It's because it's a possibility. Like, it's in play. Our military leaders have had to say basically as much that they would be willing to step in if Donald Trump refused to leave office. The issue is, if this goes to the Supreme Court and they rule in favor of Donald Trump, then that clarifies it for the military, and the military will not intervene if Donald Trump is making a grab for power. So all of this is about having the veneer of legitimacy applied if Donald Trump makes a coup attempt, essentially. This is scary stuff. It's a scary time right now. But I urge you not to take the doomer pill, okay, guys? Vote for vote for Joe Biden even if you live in a solid blue state. Vote for Joe Biden even if you live in a solidly red state. Vote for Joe Biden so that when election day comes, and do everything you can to have your vote in by election day, so that when election day comes and it is tallied up, Joe Biden wins. We need that. We need that very, very badly, okay? Without Joe Biden winning, we are fucked. And we're going to stay fucked for the foreseeable future. So please vote for Joe Biden. Please do that for me, okay? Uh, exactly, you. If it needs to be so overwhelming that the idea of contesting it is ludicrous. Doom, but in a smart way. Okay, I'll accept. The big brain doomers. Okay. Um, we still have a very good shot of unfucking ourselves. Okay. Let for your little shot of hope for the moment. Let's just take a quick look here at 5:38. Look at that. Donald Trump was up to 13 a few days ago, but is back down to 12. Biden is holding steady at 87% chance to win. There is one toss-up situation, but basically, guys, the further we get towards the right here, the harder it is for the Supreme Court to be like, yeah, we're gonna overturn these results. Like, if Biden is winning by, like, you know, 482 electoral votes to 56 in this best case scenario, the Supreme Court isn't going to overturn that, guys. Just not. Do you think there will be chaos on election day, e.g., Proud Boys? I think there's going to be chaos from Proud Boys no matter who wins. Either they're going to be celebrating or they're going to be violently mad. Um, I would suggest if you have any shopping to get done, that you should get it done before election day and then hunker down for a couple days, okay? Um, I think it is likely that we might see some angry white nationalist terrorists, okay? Um, I don't even know if they're going to necessarily be Proud Boys, but we could have the Michigan militia people who tried to kidnap the governor. We could have more plots like that coming to light. Um, just got buy a few cans of soup and soup for your family and sit tight at home for a couple days. Um, and yeah, I would imagine that the FBI is going to be working some overtime. Like, already there have been, what, I think two people got caught trying to assassinate or like kidnap Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Like, that just happened. Like, let me bring that up. Joe Biden plots. Yeah. Here's this guy. This real winner. Man detained in ongoing child porn case because of alleged plot to assassinate Joe Biden. This kid, apparently, his father died. A renowned human rights lawyer died and left him like $500,000, and he had $500,000 in cash and a trunk full of guns and was on his way to try and kill Joe Biden. Um, and also had a bunch of child pornography, I guess. So, uh, yeah, this is not a winner. I've heard some interviews with the guy who the like people who knew this person. Apparently, very deeply disturbed, very suspect about what he was into. Um, And yeah, a deeply unwell individual. I feel in a sense very sorry for this person for not receiving the treatment they so desperately needed. But yeah, probably good that he's arrested, you know? Um, yeah, for example, investigators described Treisman multiple times discussing committing a mass shooting. In one instance, allegedly saying was going to do a Columbine for a while. Also, video allegedly from the defendant's phone purportedly showed him driving by the Mandalay Bay Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, where a gunman killed 58 people and injured about 500 more on October 1st, 2017. Um, Treisman allegedly voiced anything but horror. There it is, he said, according to the court filing. That's it. That's the one. That's where they did it. Allah Akbar. Ah ha ha, nice. A reminder to you that the guy who did the Mandalay Bay Casino in Las Vegas shooting, he was not a Muslim guy. He was a white older businessman. Um, yeah. Uh, so I suspect we're gonna see more of these types with their buddies, because they're in those militia groups together, right? Um, so yeah, hunker down, stay safe, don't do anything rash. Why do so many rich people be pedos? I would say I would suggest it probably has something to do with like power. They get a taste for power, and you know, uh, they have perfectly well-adjusted women who are into that power, but they want to use it on other people who are weaker than them for whatever reason. It becomes like a power fantasy thing. Um, Depending on the country, it can be much more the game. In Spain, Barcelona against Real Madrid. Oh, are you guys talking about soccer? You guys talking about that football? Check Hunter's laptop for that answer. I don't think Hunter Biden had child pornography on his laptop, friend. I think, if anything, he had a bunch of pictures and videos of himself with naked ladies. I think that was the case. Um, and other than that, like the whole Hunter Biden story, I know I've talked about it on here a few times, but like, guys, if we're gonna put any credence into like the Hunter Biden story, like in its worst form, it's like what? A private American citizen did business in a foreign country. Do you have any idea how many times worse it is for the president of the United States to not divest from his companies and then do business in other countries? Because that's what Donald Trump has been doing and his children have been doing the entire time he's been in office. Like anytime and anything that Hunter Biden might have done that was sketchy or maybe legally gray, the Trump children have done 100,000 times worse. And also, we're not electing Hunter Biden to be president, we're electing his dad to be president. So it really has nothing to do with the presidential race, as opposed to the Trump kids who currently hold government positions and currently use them to profit themselves, as does Donald Trump. So it's just like a really silly thing to bring up anyway. Um, at its worst, it's vice president and senator getting his son jobs, corruption and nepotism, but Donald Trump can hardly complain about that. Yeah, like, hey, and to be clear, I genuinely don't think that Joe Biden got his son these jobs. I think that in capitalism, it's very common for people to give the children or family members of ranking politicians or powerful businessmen positions that they are in no way qualified to hold, as a way of ingratiating themselves. I think that's a very common thing to do. It's not good. We should probably do something to stop that. But I think holding Hunter Biden to a much higher standard than the Trump children is a ridiculously silly thing to do. And also, again, we're not voting for Hunter Biden for president over Donald Trump, so it's kind of a moot point.